Hello, I'm Sally. Nice to meet you. Today, I'd like to introduce our metal embossing machine for you. As we know, for the metal embossing machines, we usually can customize it as your needs. Here, I have some embossing patterns for your reference. Usually, when you need to have an embossing machine, you need to tell us which pattern you like. For example, this is one pattern. Yeah, this pattern. Pattern 1, yeah, for different colors. This is same pattern, but with different colors. Yeah, and this is this usually use aluminum. You can see it's like a diamond pattern. And usually for metal embossing machine, this type we call it teardrop pattern. This pattern is most popular in the embossing patterns. Yeah, usually it can be the raw material for it can be carbon steel and stainless steel. Normally, people usually use raw material of carbon steel of 3 millimeters, and sometimes if they use even thicker raw material, it can maybe up to 6 millimeters. But you know, the wider, the thicker the raw material is, the more expensive the machine will be. And for the embossing machine, you will also need to tell us when you emboss, you use coil rods or only short sheets of the raw material. And here, I'd like to introduce a set of machines that use short sheets. Yes, when you buy short sheets of raw material and emboss, you will need to get it from some vendor. And as for the machines, you can see here, first here, there is a table. It can serve as feeding tables. You need to maybe 2 workers to put the short sheet on the table. Then you can push it. You can see the rollers on the tables can move, and it can help feed the sheet into the embossing machine. Yes, this is the embossing machine, the main body. You can see this is the embossing frame. Yeah. And this is the embossing rollers, the most important part of the machine. And for our embossing rollers, we use solid raw material. You can see there are 2 embossing rollers. This one is male roller, and this one is a female roller. They work together to squeeze the sheet to have the embossing patterns. And it is solid, but for some manufacturers, they may use hollow rollers, which is lighter and cheaper. So when you choose suppliers, please not just compare the price. Please also pay attention to the rollers themselves. When they quote you lower price, it may be hollow embossing rollers. And this one is a embossing roller, embossing machine. And after the sheet is embossed in the embossing machine, it will go into the leveling machine, especially for thick raw material. If your sheet is thin, like maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, you just use the embossing machine is okay. But if you use thick raw material like 5 or 6 millimeters, you will need a leveling machine to level the sheets. Otherwise, the sheet may be not flat. And look here, we have this part after the embossing machine. Some manufacturers just make the embossing machine standby. No, this part no. But with this part, the sheet can move to the leveling machine smoothly. Yeah, with the spot roller. Yeah, it can help feeding to the leveling machine. And for our leveling machine, here, this is the device to control the leveling rollers up and down. When you level when you do the leveling of the sheet, you will need to adjust the leveling rollers to the suitable gap to make the sheet to have perfect effect. And as for the leveling machine, you can see that there is a motor and a main frame with leveling rollers. For this leveling machine, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for up, 5 up and 6 down leveling rollers. And here you can see the direction. When you need to have the leveling rollers up, you need to roll it for anti-clockwise direction. When you need to the rollers to be down and have a narrower gap, you need to roll them in the clockwise direction. Okay, when the sheet is getting out from the leveling machine, it will go smoothly to the run-out table and to get here. After it is put here, your workers can get the sheet out to the place you need to store them. And sometimes if you think the sheet is not perfect flat, you can adjust you can check the sheet to check the embossing effect and the leveling effect. And here you can see here for the embossing machine, it has a simple control cabinet. The machine is very easy to control. Here you can see that some buttons. And for these 2 buttons, it controls the move forward and backward of the embossing machine. And you press that embossing rollers can move forward or backward. And for these 2 buttons, it controls the forward and backward of the leveling rollers. And both of them work under the manual working condition. Here, for this button, you can turn it left or right to adjust it to the manual type or automatic type. Yes, and for these two buttons, it means the embossing machine and the leveling machine, they work linkage. Yeah, it means if you touch this button, they move together for forward. Or touch this button, they move backward together. It means they work in automatic conditions and work together. And here, when I open the box, you can see the wire connections. It is not complicated. And before we send out the machines, we will put many labels. We will put labels on the wires for up and down. And when you receive the machines, you only need to connect the wire according to their labels accordingly. For example, A to A, B to B, C to C, in this way. It's very convenient. Okay, and here you can see that there's 1, 2, 3 cables be connected to the control cabinet. It is very easy. When we send the machines out, the cables will be out of the control cabinet to be easy to ship out. And when you receive the machine, you just, for 1, 2, 3, there are 3 holes on the back of the control cabinet. There's no order for them. You can just put any of them into any of the holes, and then just connect the detail wires accordingly in the cabinet. It is okay. And here, for this wheel, when you need to adjust, for example, if your embossing machine can be able to work for raw material thickness range from maybe 2 to 6 millimeters. So each time when you feed raw material of different thickness, you will need to adjust the gap between the embossing rollers. And then you will ask how can I adjust the embossing roller gaps? Then you'll need to adjust this wheel. When you move it, the embossing rollers, they can up and down to move it. And as for the embossing rollers, it is very durable. And usually for the embossing roller, if nothing special happens, its natural lifetime can be about 10 years. So it is a very long, service life. You don't need to worry about it. And sometimes clients want to save cost and try to pay as least as possible money to make as much as possible products. Okay, no problem. Then you can send us different designs of embossing patterns. We can make different embossing rollers for you. Then you can change the embossing rollers when you need to do emboss different sheets. And anyway, one more thing. After the machine is sent out, we will also send you the manual of the machine and its electric diagram of the machine to help you to connect to know the wires, know how to connect the wires, and also you can connect the wires in the control cabinet according to their labels. Totally, the machine is easy to operate, and right now it's very popular in the market because the finished product, you can use it here and there, and it can be used widely. And we think that if you have one of the machines, you can earn money very, very soon. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.